你有能力办到。
Is Quan gonna be Red Eyes? I mean, that would certainly be a monkey wrench, right? Red Eyes has gold eyes. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are here with another episode of Link Click. As always, we come back with a board and notes, and we even have a comment today. First off, let's do the board. And with the board comes the board changelog, where I have combined the Hoodie Kid and Li Tianxi to Li Tianshen, as per my thought process at the beginning of last episode, where it turns out Li Tianxi, or at least the image that we were using for Li Tianxi, turns out to be Li Tianshen. I changed the white line connecting Hoodie Kid, Tianshen, to Jean. Not Jean. Sorry, every time I say his name, because it's a week apart that I say his name, I always forget how to say it. Qian, which is actually pronounced with an X. So Jean? Quan? I'm just gonna say Quan. I always get it wrong. By the way, by the time people are going to actually respond to this or see this in the comments, I will have said the name wrong consistently for like 24 episodes straight. There will be no correcting it. I will be unforgivably having said characters' names wrong the entire time. Anyway, change that white line to green. I added Lu Jing and connected them with a green line to Quan. And I'll explain that later in the notes because I felt that I had to make that note here in the board changelog because even I'm confused about that. Next up, we're going to go to the notes because I think I'm going to hold to my thought process when it comes to comments here that I use in Gundam, which is to say, first my thoughts and then respond to the commenter's thoughts, because there's quite possibly always an overlap of thoughts that I had before things somebody else will say, and then I can just say, oh, I already covered that in my notes. So, a little behind the scenes on why I do things the way I do things. Taking the image of Xiao's phone to a translator, the new message she has that she says is from Lu translates to, "What is the meaning of the story?" And the pin on the map translated two different ways. It's a beautiful day or beautiful scenery. I don't implicitly know if any of that means anything, but that's what it translated to. I think this episode proves that Tian Shan isn't Red Eyes, as it seems like their power set is to subdue anyone touching them. That would seem to that would seem completely unrelated to photographs, as per the conversation at the start of the season. I would even go so far as to say that Tian Shin doesn't fight as well as Red Eyes. There is, of course, the element that everything that's happened before is technically the past, and that any character we've met could learn things in the future and go back if they wanted. Say, if Tian Shin learned to fight better and then jumped back to a scene we've seen before from a point in the future that we haven't seen yet. The other evidence against that would be the conversations. Red Eyes doesn't know Shang when they first jump into Lu Min or Zhao's bodies, implying that it wouldn't be a Tian Shin from the future doing it. While messing with the board, something occurred to me that I've already brought up before. The number of people named Li and how it may connect to Lu Min's dad. A few episodes back, Lu Min's dad was talking to an unseen person in his office about something called the metaverse. Lu Min's dad associates with Quan. Quan associates with Li Tianxin. So, if A equals B and B equals C, it might be possible that A equals C, and that the Li that Lu Min's dad is dealing with could be Tianxin. Sorry. I suppose the biggest clue that Tian Shin and Tian Shi had switched places should probably have been the fact that she was talking, but you never really know what could have happened in so many years. So I guess I just kinda mentally wrote it off and let the story continue to play out. Instead, I focused on the hair and still figured it out. Just the hard way, I guess. Still glad I shot my shot, especially before the episode where all of it was revealed. It's curious that Quan says that not even Zhao Li knew about the boat, as it almost seems to imply that Zhao Li knew about something. It's an odd name drop considering everything that went on. I mean, it could just be in reference to the fact that Zhao Li figured out enough that he had to be waylaid with a fight in the residential area. It just feels like that any given name drop has to be noticed and noted, lest it have future connections as of yet unseen in the moment. Also worth noting, I suppose, that Quan's target was Shang, maybe implying that this whole operation is connected to Red Eyes and Red Eyes' obsession with Chang. I made a note for myself. Case number 1236712, which is the case that Quan Xin was handling. It's also Lu Lan and Li Fan's death case and his last case. One point of confusion I have is that Zhao Li mentions this is in connection to why Quan may have stormed the hospital, but also in his connection to Lu Jing. Maybe it's because it's been a week since the last episode, or that I have a lot going on in my life right now, but I do not remember Lu Jing. I don't have the name anywhere in my notes, nor on my board. Did the translators change names spelling? Is this someone I know, but I don't recall the sound of their name when not spelled the same? Just confused on this point. If it's something I already know, then let me know. If it's not, then of course don't spoil it. But that is why I made that note before in the board changelog that I added Lu Jing and connected them to Quan with a green line because I do not remember who they are and is apparently not a character on my board. 091305, Lu Wang's phone password. If it were a date, that would be September 13th, 2005, though the only thing I have listed happening in September is when that one girl's body was found in the river, sometime after Emma's death. No listed year, though, so don't know if that lines up. So it might be a clue to anything, really. Really, thus far, none of the numbers I've written down have shown up again yet, so to that thing I talked about earlier, could just be anything. Also, the element that hits me is the fact that I don't know how China does its dating system, so it might not even be September 13th, 2005. It could be, well, actually, the element here is that the way I think the rest of the world does it, this doesn't work because there's no 13th month, so I think September 13th, 2005 is probably the best way that works. Or, well, no, I don't think, anyway, it's probably not that either. So, how did Lu know to go to the river in the first place? He was barely strong enough to see very far into the future for the trip Chang was on into Tianxi's past. And we still have no evidence that he can see into the future of the present. I mean, unless he took a picture at 6:42 and looked into the future of it, saw what would happen, and decided to take action to change a future that hadn't happened yet, which I guess wouldn't specifically go against his rules about changing the past. But then, why would he hide his phone for Chang to find? The future he would see, again, just assuming that I'm right, couldn't have had Chang taking him over because it wouldn't have happened yet. Unless Lu can see all possible futures or something. Lu would have had to see the future, plan to leave the phone, and then do something completely meaningless for the remaining time, so that Chang could then find the phone, go back, and make Lu do what needed to be done. He'd have to have seen his own failed timeline and the timeline Chang alters. I mean, it's either that or he knew some other way, which then raises suspicion as to who Lu is in contact with that we've yet to see or meet. I know I noted earlier that Quan and Tian Shin might be working for Red Eyes, but it seems like they might also just be working for themselves. Quan goes on about getting Shang's power and rewriting everything, and both he and Tian Shin have a motive to want to do so. Quan and his wife, Tian Shin and his mother, and in the point of view of changing the past, then nothing about the present matters. It becomes an ends justify the means scenario. It doesn't matter how many people die along the way, they won't be dead in the new timeline. Or, at least they won't have died by your actions, as you wouldn't have taken those actions. It makes sense to me, at least from a point of view I could have if I were a character in this world trying to justify myself. It also separates them from Red Eyes' murders if they were unrelated to that character, which would make Tian Shin at least that much more sympathetic again. You know, aside from the fact that, he, discarded his sister and whatnot, as per the note that Tian Shi tried to betray her brother and Quan, apparently. But, again, from the aspect of anything that we do in changing the past, gets rid of the present of what we've done. If you're stealing the time machine, just as an example, if there's a time machine and in the effort to steal the time machine, you murder a security guard, then go back into the past and change events so that you didn't have to steal the time machine in the first place, that security guard does not get murdered by you. So while you may have committed a murder, that murder no longer happens. So you can absolve yourself of that if you are so willing to do. And I believe that's the thought process that these two may be on, that no act is so horrible that it won't be erased from history if we succeed. And my last note is I'm still not happy that I went out of my way to try and see gold in Lou's eyes, and in both episodes, boat jumping scenes, just wasn't there. I see no reason to both suggest that Lou was taken over and then also hide it from the viewer when we are meant to be looking out for those things based on being knowledgeable about the show that we're watching. Like I said, that was my last note, but we do have a comment from the Patreon, which is from Rogue Knight, from the episode Hostage. Great reaction. Thank you as always for watching the show. Great call about the sibling haircut. I was laughing during it just knowing how right you were. Well done, LOL. Regarding some other things, I just want to point out two things. One, so I think we have chatted before during Season 1, but eye color is just for the audience. No one in universe can see anything different. For example, in Episode 8 from Season 1, Chang is inhabiting Zhu Shanshan when she walks into the photo studio, but she doesn't have golden eyes. Yet later we go into her body and rewatch the same scene in episode 10, and she now has golden eyes. This scene is now for us, the audience, to readily understand what is happening. I imagine this is done to keep us on our toes. There was a theory going around season 2, one I heavily championed, that turned out to be wrong. It was heavily fueled by the question of eye color. I'll tell you what my theory was at the end of season 2. In regards to this point, I know I've brought it up before. The element, I think it comes up when Zhao is seeing the kid being abducted and not knowing that it's a kid abduction at the time. Because the first time we see it, he has normal eyes, and then the second time we see it is when Shang is in it. In them, and they have golden eyes from Zhao's opinion. And then my question came up during that story arc. when do they have gold eyes? Or I think actually my question at the time was, is there a current timeline, and then the timeline changes when Chang inhabits a person, which is why Zhao could see not gold eyes at the time, and then have gold eyes later, implying that one timeline happened in another one. Because if the idea is that things can be changed, but only up to the point of not changing nodes, then that does imply different timelines. I think I mentioned this before in episode 2 of season 1, when Shang, inhabiting that woman, gets into the taxi, and starts having a conversation with themselves, or technically with Lu. But for the taxi driver, that woman is having a conversation with herself. The idea that that probably did not happen the first time around. So now this taxi driver is having to listen to this conversation that he is then interacting with, that he did not listen to the first time around. Or there's so many like minute things, but this is time travel. This is butterfly effect territory. How many small things does Chang change every time he goes back that didn't happen exactly one for one the same way that happened before? The idea that Chang accidentally kicks a rock when he is in Emma's body, and that rock trips somebody down the road, and that makes them a half second late for a meeting, which makes their boss that much angrier and gets them fired. Butterfly effect scenario. If Chang doesn't do exactly 100% the thing that he did in the past, everything changes. And I'm saying he did in the past. The other person that he's inhabiting did in the past. There is no observational effect here. The element that he's in the body doing things. Anyway, I think I got completely off topic. You had a second point here. Red Eye's motivation / powers. Quan Jin says they want Chang's power to go back in time. Are you of the opinion Red Eyes can time travel? We can chat later about your thoughts to this question. I think I've implied through everything I've ever said that Red Eyes can time travel. That is my opinion, yes. I don't think it works if you don't think Red Eyes can time travel, because... Sorry, I'm thinking now. He has the fight with Lu Min in the photo studio. And by Lu Min, I mean Red Eyes inhabited Lu Min. And then he tries to save Emma. Sorry, I might be misremembering the ordering of events here. But it very much feels like the different things that happen regarding Red Eyes happens concurrently for Red Eyes, but not in the timeline of the show. Which is to say, Red Eyes is in the fight with Emma, and then in Zhao, stabbing Lu, and that's like a solid timeline for Red Eyes. Whereas the timeline of the show is present, past, present, right? Or I guess technically present, which then becomes past, past, and then... So the element that Red Eyes is narratively in a concurrent timeline, but in the chronological timeline is moving all over the place. That is my view of how Red Eyes' power works, because otherwise, Red Eyes is... I don't know, it expands the territory of trying to figure out who Red Eyes is, if we are otherwise trying to assert that Red Eyes is a person who can control people at a distance and not through time. Although, you may have spoiled something here, because now that I'm thinking about it out loud, if your assertion is, and I'm only calling this a spoiler possibly because you are a person who knows more than I do, if your assertion is that Red Eyes can only control a person in the present and not in the past, that would imply that that's why Well, no, that doesn't make sense. Sorry, I'm voicing stuff out without going through the motions. The idea that he wants to use photographs, which is a power that he has, as he said when he was inhabiting Zhao, while at the same time needing Chang's power, which uses photographs. It's like the weird juxtaposition of how he said that, how they said that. Red Eyes could be man or woman, who knows? Might imply, because if you can't do it in the past, a photograph is always going to be in the past. So if Red Eyes is using a photograph, that's always going to be in the past. Like, essentially, if I take a photograph, like right now, what you're watching, 20 seconds in the past of what I'm doing currently in front of an actual camera, right? I'm sorry, I'm saying that to people watching me live, but obviously if you're watching this on YouTube, obviously the past. But, yeah, an image on a screen is, like, even the image from your eyeballs is gonna be milliseconds, nanoseconds, who the hell knows? Well, somebody knows, but point is, stuff reaching your brain is always in the past of what has actually already happened. So, someone out there is already saying no shit. My point is that when, say, Tian Shen grabs you, he's doing something in the present. He's touching you that's happening right now. As opposed to, say, if Red Eyes was controlling people through a picture of right now. Is your assertion that he's controlling people from video cameras? Is there a video camera in the room when Zhao is being controlled by Red Eyes? I don't think so. Is a photo studio. Be ironic if there wasn't. I mean, if there was, because the idea now in my head that Emma was on a video camera when Red Eyes was being controlled. I mean, when Emma was being controlled by Red Eyes. There's nothing now because everybody else that was found dead somewhere, like side of a river, where there was no camera, video camera or anything. So no, that's not it either. Yeah, no, sorry, your assertion that the possibility exists that Red Eyes is not time traveling doesn't make any sense to me unless the idea is that he's just looking at something, like Red Eyes is always in the room somewhere, controlling people. No, because that doesn't make any sense for Lu Min being killed when he kills himself, unless the implication is what? The cop is Red Eyes? If the cop is Red Eyes, he's a fucking great actor, because he is faking being sad about so many of his friends dying. Or associates. Okay. Two camps before I move off from the comment. One, Rogue Knight is giving a massive spoiler hint to who Red Eyes may be, and that is somebody who doesn't time travel and thus would have to be present or at least in the time frame of anything that's happening. And thus, your connector there would have to be somebody who's connected to every event. So, obviously, in our storyline so far, who would be the connective tissue there? A cop, right? So it's either Quan or, God dang it, sorry, my brain is, forgetting names. Zhao Li. Quan or Zhao Li, if I'm to try and follow the logic trail of where I think Rogue Knight is going with their question. Or two, my belief that Red Eyes does travel through time, in which case it could be anybody. I will give it to Rogue Knight that he's put me on a theory craft that at least gives me two candidates. Otherwise, my current idea is that anybody could be Red Eyes, which I guess also includes the two candidates. Anyway, yeah, that is my response to that comment. Otherwise, I guess all that's left to do is to hop on into the episode and see what we get from new reveals.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
and uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, the other cop was actually spotting him in the bathroom and going to investigate. I'm assuming he's gonna go hide in the shower or something. Though I assume, you know, cop would check the shower. Yeah, I'm just completely thrown by how Liu got around these guys, or Shang got around these guys. Not in a million years would I think to peek through a crack in a door. So I'd be worried about this exact scenario. Okay, that was dumb. That was not worth the cliffhanger.
对了，叫人来勘察一下现场，还需要在周围设置巡查点。手机怎么这么快就没电了？拿你的试试。怎么回事？出门前都没把电。
Seriously, I am shocked that Liu escaped.
并不是偶然发生的。
Okay, that was the past, this is the present. And she was drawing a picture that I noticed had like red on the side, and I assumed. Yeah, that other guy's dad.
乔林说的没错，我相信，已经发生的过去必然存在，即使有无数种可能，但陆光用他自己来拯救你，这就是命运的必经之路。 无论过去，不问将来。
Again, how did he know how to do that? How to do that? How did he know to do that? And there was an element of the opening here. Yeah, right here. The apparently this is a grocery store, by the way. The element that this is the area where they found Tian Shi. This part of the opening is that part of the episode where she's like huddled in the corner. Sorry, I'm just going over all these little thoughts in my head. She's drawing the picture from last episode, and it seems like there's a person in the very middle, but there's also this red going down the side. They never focused on it. It was just like the half second that I was looking at it, or that I was able to see anything of it. And the only thing I could think of is, you know, flashback to the most traumatic moment of her life. But sorry, I'm just sort of at a loss. I think I'm going back towards how did Liu know to do all of that? Because the idea is that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because Liu wouldn't have to have seen the future where Shang takes over his body to do the thing, and then he has to say, oh, Shang takes over my body, I have to let Shang take over my body because it's the future that I've seen. And the only reason I could see that he would do that is that he took a picture and then looked into the future of the picture he just took, which also implies that's a thing he can do. Oh yeah, I also forget that this is also part of the opening. Because if he can do that, then he always knows what's going to happen to him. Three Stories, Part 1, Inevitable Tragedy.
想想你的身份，你要是被我家的人发现，就会送命的。
我借助爱神的博弈飞跃，
And we also don't know what Tian
因为
Shen
金枪石壁根
told
本组合
Liu.
不住炽热的爱情。如果敢于尝试，爱情就能成功。为此， 你的家人无法阻拦我。
万一他们发现了你，他们会杀了你的。
你的眼神比他们的20把剑都厉害。
Translated E Old English.
我就能抵挡得住敌人所有的武器。
Quan, okay. Post-wife murder? I'm assuming yes.
今天的演出太成功了，看得我热泪盈眶。
这就是我老公，钱进。
No, free.
哦
Okay.
经常听 Lisa 提起您，大侦探钱队。
But now we got a name for her.
就是大帅了吧？
啊，别，您叫我庄帅就行了。
他经常夸你演得好，带着他。
嗨
Wow, he's not going to turn out
Lisa
to be
她
the
自己的戏才
murderer,
好
is
着
he?
呢。
哎，可惜啊，现如今懂得欣赏这种高雅艺术的人是越来越少了。
哎，你可答应过，会支持我的工作哦。
那当然啊。哎，对了，前天你们一起去看的那个新场地怎么样？听说租金更便宜。
前天，新场地还没找到合适的呢。
Uh-oh.
就是天腾路上那个老厂房，前天晚上吃过晚饭去看的。
嗨，我以为那边就看看，那么贵，根本就没
She
想
was
过你做
murdered and she was cheating on
天
him?
统路，我记得那里的老厂房改制之后是做商用办公的呀。
后面有一个特别小的场地，做办公面积有点尴尬，就偷偷对外招租了。哎，走吧，一起吃饭去。
啊，你们去吧，我就不当电灯泡横插一脚。
I'm not beyond believing that he could have murdered his own wife and then made it look like somebody else did it.
钱队啊，小陈，
Completely changes
你怎么来
my
了？
suspicion.
现在跟着肖丽还习惯吗？
钱队，我就是听别人说你最近状态不好，所以特地来看看你。果不其然，怎么魂不守舍的？
没事，干这行通宵熬夜都是常有的事。
Completely changes my suspicion of the possibility that they might be working to change their own pasts.
你有时间也多回家关心关心嫂子，她经常一个人在家也怪孤单的。我女朋友也抱怨过我好几次了。
That's a bit of
你们都快结
irony,
婚了吧？那么好的姑娘，你可得看紧了啊！
considering that Shang had to go back into your past to apologize to your wife after you died for you not being there all the time.
没啊，一个人待着呗。那能怎么办？这么多年不就这样过来了？但最近不知道怎么了，戏没演几场，这腰总是酸酸的，有时候都直不起来。
她自个儿忙着呢。
呸，你说什么呢你？
Now she's talking to what's his name on the phone.
谁说我穿不上了？我也就结婚以后有了点肚子，晚上少吃点就能消掉的嘛。
钱进，好了，差不多少喝点。
I'm still not getting the point where we reached the element we were calling this part inevitable tragedy. Doesn't feel inevitable.
你说我们这么拼命干，有什么意思？连自己老婆都看不住。小李，你说，到底是谁的错？我的错，还是他的错？还是他的错？你说呀！
At some point, I would put a lot of blame on that other guy who knew that Lisa's married.
有件事，其实早就该告诉你。
Knew? Son of a bitch. That's the problem when people don't talk to each other, right? Lisa should have had a conversation with him about leaving him before she then went off to the actor guy. What is this gonna be like Dante's Inferno? Ah, shit, everything's gonna deal with Quan. I was hoping 3 stories was actually gonna be 3 different stories of 3 different characters.
前队，你怎么来了？
说说案情吧。
你家里的事刚忙完，我们几个在这盯着就行。你要不……死者是一对夫妻，女的叫刘兰，38岁，男的叫李凡，42岁。报
Oh,
案人是他们的邻居。
that's what we're doing.
他察觉隔壁可能在发生
His
枪战，
last
随
case.
即就报了警。后来巡警赶到后敲门，一直没有人开。破门后发现，两人都已经没了生命体征。就现场来看，应该是互相厮打的时候错手杀死了对方。凶器也都是家里的刀具和工具锤。
Again, I had to suspect that Red Eyes took control of her, which is how she could move after the attack, but then also killed her.
Oh. 不好意思啊，走神儿了，能不能再问一遍？
哦，对了，案发现场还有刘兰的2个孩子，我们到的时候，哥哥还紧紧抱着妹妹不放。
God damn it, we just keep fucking coming back to this.
哎，前队，
I super fucking hate that apparently Tianxi is mentally regressed because of all this too.
能告诉我，到底发生了什么事吗？
是我杀了他们。
Well, I'm glad all your cop buddies left because this would be so fucking weird. Oh, unless he's laughing because he's touching him.
然后，你们就跟着他了。
我记得你跟我说过，要成为丛林中的猎人。
没错。
现在你觉得我是什么？
一头受伤的野兽。你知道野兽和猎人的区别是什么吗？
野兽更加凶残。
I mean, nothing.
猎人更加精明。
不对，野兽是饿了才会去捕食，而猎人不一样。
刘少爷。
Oh, okay. Lou, got it.
我相信不久的将来，你一定会遇到那个让你成为猎人的机会。
Sorry, someone randomly told me we've already met Lu Jing before.
我们还会再见面吗？
一定会的。
Well, he seems like he's from a well-off family. Wonder if he knows anything about the metaverse. Nope, that's an L-I. That was a Li, not a Lu.
请问你们找谁啊？
啊，是刘晶刘总让我来的。
啊，
Oh, Lu
刘少爷。
Jing knows Lu Ming.
客人说是来找刘总的。
And Tian Shen knows Lu Ming, which, of course, friend, we know that.
他们进来吧。
Damn it, I guess Tian Shen is Red Eyes. Ironically, though, it was the forum post by Lu Min that says that his friend tried to convince him against murdering
之前听刘
somebody.
总说了一些关于你的遭遇，真的很遗憾。
我知道那个女的多亏你才摆平的。
今天是有什么事情要找我吗？
这个是谁？
看着还挺面熟的呀。喂，我们是不是在哪儿见过？该不会是个哑巴吧？
刘公子，有事说事嘛，何必骂人呢？
骂人？网上那帮键盘侠对我没日没夜的攻击，那才叫骂人。
Yeah.
听说你帮我爸办成不少事儿。
You already read out all that stuff before.
帮我办一个。
我可以帮你向那几个污蔑情节严重的网民出具律师函，以示警告。
这能有用？
No, not really.
别自己骗自己，逗玩呢。我要那些在网上带头骂我的人永远闭嘴。我知道，你有能力办到。
Is Quan gonna be Red Eyes? I mean, that would certainly be a monkey wrench, right? Red Eyes has gold
刘
eyes.
公子，你喝多了，说笑呢。
人，我已经挑好了。
Emma?
办这事，我可没有能力，得看他愿不愿意。
That wouldn't be Emma. Because Lu Min would just randomly do it himself. It's gonna be the neighbor guy? What are we laughing about?
不呀啊！他笑，是不是就说明他同意了？
This is gonna be his best friend? The blue hair guy? Yeah, I don't understand what the humor element is. I can see someone going crazy, like... Or is it gonna be Quan's wife? Like, I don't... So the element of trying to guess is what's throwing me. The fairy tale story that the mom told them that Tian Xin repeated during the horrible scene. Oh fuck, we're reliving it in a fantasy world too? I mean, if we were gonna kill that security guard instigated a lot for no reason. I thought we were fucking done with this, but now we're seeing it again with a fantasy flair. I wonder if it's gonna be a duo thing. Trying to get my mind off of this shit. Like Lu and Shang can duo together. That maybe Tian Xin can take control of a person that they're touching. But Tian Shi can touch a person from distance and time. That has to be the blue-haired friend. Talking about the hunter thing. That or it's Quan teaching him to hunt. Yeah, we're really focusing on Tianxi here, but again, perceived betrayal.
对不起，对不起。
But very clearly, he doesn't change his path. He legit abandoned her to continue doing what he's doing.
千金，有件事其实早就该告诉你。叶七思死的时候，已经怀上了孩子。
Oh, that's what he didn't tell you. Yeah, I don't know if he's laughing because he's touching the kid that controls people when they touch. Yeah, show us the picture.
原来你不聋不哑啊！他笑。
I'm gonna be guessing who's in the picture if you don't show me what the picture is. Okay, it was the neighbor. Although, why?
是不是对人家老婆有意思呀？怪不得我看他呀，隔三差五就往这儿跑。
Wow.
关系不一般呐！我看到了。
Oh, I fucking hate that guy now. What the fuck was the point of that?
朋友，让我们为世界少了一个垃圾。
Also, if Tian Shen knew that this guy was saying that shit, why didn't he bring that up at dinner? That would be worth saying, I feel like.
你一定会遇到那个让你成为猎人的机会。
Oh, also, why would Lu Min have anything to do with that guy? Lu Min feels self-centered enough that he would only go after the people affecting him. Okay, never mind. Internet troll. That dude is clearly on the internet, probably one of the people posting shit about Lu Min. As a point of note, they found Tianxi 2 days before this event happened.
怎么回事啊？我这是在哪儿？
So the crisscross doesn't actually make a lot of sense.
在这条命运的必经之路上，所有的偶然，也都终将成为必然。但是，对不起，陆光，为了你，我不想沿着这条路继续走下去。
Okay. Except that had happened already. The implication felt to me like it seemed like Shang was not gonna go with Tianxin, like he does, but we know that he does because we've already seen that happen. So what I actually expected to see there was that the gold from Lu's eyes fade away, and the implication is that Lu carried himself forwards to get captured for whatever reason, because Lu is a mystery now. Again, no idea why he set this up to happen to begin with. And when I say set this up to happen, I mean the throwing the thing out the window, being taken over by Chang, everything like that. Like, how did he know everything was going to happen? Unless what I'm saying is correct. He took a picture at 6:42, and then just looked into the future of his own picture. Although that would seem to be against not a rule. That seems like it would be against the setup as well, from the element that there's nobody in that picture. So what would he be looking into the future of? I guess also a thought that enters my head. What was the point of Quan's thing there? Other than Quan meeting the kids and then Quan bringing Tianxian to Lu Min, because Quan's wife being pregnant and cheating on him didn't really seem to have a lot to do with that inevitable future thing. Also, the element of Lu Min putting out a hit on a guy who's just a troll on the internet. Like, I feel like that guy fucking sucked because he is literally, I was bringing up, oh, that security guard fucking sucked for spreading rumors that causes this whole domestic violence thing. But then it turns out to be the other guy telling the security guard that, who then, the security guard is just a blabbermouth. But the element that did Tianxin knew that this guy was telling the other guy that, and then doesn't say anything. And I understand, like, what can the kid say, right? What can the kid say that's going to do anything to this scenario? But it's the element that he heard it and never said anything. And then he's just like, oh, that guy fucking sucks. Don't do anything with that guy. And not like, hey, that guy's actually spreading some pretty vicious rumors about you. I don't know. I would say that his laughter at the meetup with Lu Min is exactly the face I would think that Red Eyes would have. It's just also the element that it seems like his power set isn't fit the power set of Red Eyes. Maybe, I guess the thing I'm going to lean into is the possibility that Tian Shi has a power that allows him to control people at distance, and they have to work together, and that her running away from him is that betrayal, but is also why he's doing things up in person now, because that's his only ability. Sorry, there was something else I wanted to address that I can't think of now. The element that the blue-haired kid is named Lu Jing, I think is what they said, right? I guess I was thinking during the episode that, oh, maybe that's the metaverse kid. But it occurred to me that Lumen's dad was talking to a guy named Li, not Lu Jing. I mean, possibly he changed his name. I don't know. But there seems to be a connection there. Tian Shen knows Lu Jing. Lu Jing knows Lu Min. But also, damn it. Sorry. Everything just escaped my brain there in half a second. Anyway, this is a very connective episode. in that it connects a lot of motivations and people, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change what we already know. Like, it adds the element that Kwan's wife was having an affair, it seems like, and she was pregnant. I think we already knew she was pregnant, actually. Or maybe I'm thinking about Shen's wife. Shen's fiancée. Shen's wife. I think we knew. Anyway, doesn't change anything. Legitimately, it's a child that can get born. And are we going to imply the possibility that it was the actor that she was having an affair with that killed her? Because all we have is like the silhouette of that guy. Although it could be an element, I think I was saying this at the beginning of the episode, that Kwan killed his own wife and then set up the actor to take the fall. I would not be surprised if that turned out to be the case, or if Kwan used Tian Shen to do it, as per the little fantasy riff, where, you know, it seems like Tian Shen is being trained to kill, that maybe this is like one of the first ones to teach him how to do this. What else do we have in there? So again, that was the element that didn't make a lot of sense to me, why that was part of the inevitable fate thing, because that just seems like backstory for him. Granted, we would need to learn that backstory eventually, but why was that in this segment? Blue-haired kid still doesn't technically have a face, as, you know, per our thing. He's hidden from here down, which is exactly what we did to Lu Min before we gave Lu Min a part. I don't know. I'm not pleased that we're going back to the, we're going back to the family dinner. It'd be like if we started invoking the earthquake again for no reason. No. There's that one last question. I'm just going to spitball this out into the air before we wrap up. The first question I had from, I think, the first episode, which was, who hired them to investigate the company that gets Emma in trouble, that sets everything off with Lu Min and Lu Min's dad? Who hired them for the first job? I feel like that's gonna have to be a person, eventually, of importance, because that's something that never comes back, and it's essentially the thing that sets us off on this entire track to begin with. Anyway, I feel like I'm in a full-on ramble now. There is a lot in the bank to question still. There's going to be a lot of notes. Well, I assume there's going to be a lot of notes. This could be another 5-note thing for all I know. The element at play here is that, again, a lot of information that we already knew, new context for that information, though. So, I think we're just going to have to take it on the rewatch, figure out what we can figure out, and we'll discuss it from there. Otherwise, though, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?